Hey guys, I'm in the greenhouse and I thought I would just show you what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna go ahead and take some cuttings off of this fuchsia. This is a great time to propagate fuchsia in the winter like this, as long as they look kind of as lush as mine is here. So I'm just gonna take it down probably to a node here, and then I'm gonna push this down into possibly a little bit of rooting hormone, or maybe just some soil, or maybe I'll do kind of an experiment of both and just see how this goes. But I'm definitely going to be taking some of this down today and trying to propagate it up. And one of the great things about propagating a thing like a fuchsia is that, you know, you're basically creating a more of a plant collection for yourself. I'm getting my little tray here and my humidity dome. So, you know, you're increasing your collection. You can share them with friends and family if they do, if they're successful, and, you know, just, it's a good economic way to garden. I'd out my dirt. This is my container I have. It's on wheels and it's very heavy right now because it's totally full. I just got some new soil because I know I'm going to be doing a lot of seed starting and propagating. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill this up. Kind of doing this one-handed as I try to share this process with you. And I'll probably do, I might do 2 trays of this fuchsia. I might just do 1. So I like this kind of squared off shovel though, because I can kind of just glide it along, and then that's pretty compact. And I am working with wet soil for this. And now I'm just going to go ahead and start collecting my cuttings and getting them pushed down. This is the rooting powder that I think what I'll do is I'll use this on maybe half of them and then the other half not, and just maybe see which one seems to thrive better. So yeah, I might try that today too. These really fun clippers that a friend got me. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get going on these cuttings and trying to consider the health of the mother plant as well. Okay, so there's the first one. Kind of see that. And I'm sorry, the wind is blowing my greenhouse a little bit. There's the second one. So you can kind of see I'm taking it down to the kind of the first, you know, main set of leaves, I guess. So let me go ahead and get the rest of these cut and then I'll show them to you when I'm done. All right, well, here's all my props. So let me count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Looks like I have about 12. So I need to make sure I have enough soil in enough seed trays. So I think I should be fine. Yeah, I think that'll fill up about 1 tray. So that'll be perfect. All right, so here we go. I'm just gonna take that fresh cut. I'm gonna do a little bit of the rooting hormone, like I said, on some of these. And then I'm just gonna push it down into that first set of leaves. And then I will go ahead and put the humidity dome on this just to make sure that it stays nice and damp. Grab one more of these. So I'll do this whole first row here with the ones with the rooting hormone, but I might go ahead and just tamp down around these as well. And then what I tend to do is put a little bit of water in the bottom to start, to just increase that humidity. And then pretty soon we'll have little roots and we'll have some new plants. So it's pretty exciting. Just for the sake of experimentation on this next row over here, I'm going to go ahead and not use the rooting hormone. So we can see which does better here. Ooh, that one kind of accidentally fell into the rooting hormone a tiny bit, but it should be okay. Oops. Get in here, dude. Okay, there we go. So I'm just going to fill the rest of those up now. So see, the health of the mother plant is not affected. In fact, anywhere I did one of those clippings will likely branch off and have 2 branches come out. All right, guys, well, it's been about a week since I tried propagating my fuchsias, so I just wanted to show you. I actually ended up going in and trimming off a lot of the leaves and just leaving, you know, maybe 1 to 2 sets of leaves. I did that for a couple reasons, but I think that they're looking really good. I definitely don't think they're probably rooted in quite yet. It's only been a week, and I have had them under the humidity dome here. and I've been keeping them pretty wet, but I have high hopes for them. I'm hoping that they're going to turn out and work well, but I definitely got rid of a lot of those leaves, and so I just wanted to update you on that and show you that, you know, I think this is probably a better practice, which is to, you know, trim some of those bottom leaves off. And so I'm going to be going out to the greenhouse today and doing a little bit more propagating of these and trying a second batch. And also I'm going to be propagating a few, or trying to propagate a few of my these ones, of my geraniums. Yes, that's what that is. Okay, a few of my geraniums. So this one I tried as just like, you know, a trial just to see if it would work, and it seems to be doing pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and go back out to the greenhouse today and try to do some propagations of some geraniums too, and I'm going to take you along for that. Lisianthus seeds, nothing yet. They've been under these grow lights and in a wet soil for about a week. Nothing yet, nothing sprouting quite yet. So this is the Monstera plant that I'm going to be up potting today. I wanted to show you a couple things. First of all, these are called aerial roots, and there's nothing wrong with these. You can, like I could tuck these down into the soil for more support, or I can just trim them off. But here's like the main plant, and you can see I have it wired here to a little bit of support, although that support is even too small for this pot. You can also see I have a couple pups here. So I have one little baby right there from the main mother plant. And then on the other side, it's kind of hard to see, but on the other side of this, I've got another small baby right there that I could do a cutting. And then, so that's what I'm going to plan on doing. I'm going to cut this one, and if I can pull this up and actually get it at the root, that's great. If not, I can water propagate this. And then I'm gonna just repot this main mother plant. Now, another thing you can do with these aerial roots is like, I could try to kind of wrap them around this moss pole. But yeah, that's the one I'm gonna be working on today. And let me show you where it's gonna go. So I got this pot recently for Christmas, and you can see I've got this other one here. So what I'm gonna do is just plant it in kind of an ugly, you know, just a plastic pot, and use the white pot as a cover pot for that. And you can see, I mean, you can barely see it at the top, but it'll still work pretty well for that. And that way it'll have good drainage, because these ceramic pots don't have drain holes. So that is going to be the up pot that I'm going to do today for this Monstera. All the Monstera that I have actually came from this mother plant. I have to show you this leaf. Is that not just gorgeous? Look at this one. So this was the first Monstera plant I ever got. And so from that plant, I have this one here. I have the one I'm going to up pot today. I have this one here, another one which is just now breaking the fenestrated leaves. But again, you can see there's those aerial roots. So they just are a way for this plant to stabilize itself and, you know, attach if it were growing in its natural environment. And then I have this one here, which just broke a new leaf. And this one at the bottom, again, has a little pup in the pot, but I'm just gonna leave it for now. I'm not gonna try to separate it. And then the other Monstera I have is a Thai constellation, which is the variegated ones. And that one I've only had for a shorter amount of time, and you can see it's not as big quite yet. So it's getting there. This new leaf, that's its biggest leaf there, but I'm excited to, you know, keep growing that one on. And then I have this one, and I'm considering this one for an up pot too, just because it has kind of 3 main branches here, but it's pushing a new leaf here. And so let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Monsteras plus all the pups that they push from one mother plant. So that's a pretty good propagation rate. Monsteras are pretty easy to propagate and easy to grow. They don't require a ton of light, at least for me. But anyway, it's pretty cool if you get yourself one that you can, you know, continue to add to your collection by, you know, taking out those little the little pups and continuing to pot them up and propagate them. All right, so I'm out here in the greenhouse and I don't have a ton of room to do this project because I am trying to overwinter so many plants out here that it's pretty crowded. So I'm just gonna try to make this happen right down here on the ground. I find myself repotting houseplants quite a bit in the winter time. I feel like I have more time than in the summer to do repotting projects like this. Okay, I might try to get, oh, my mat's up there. I think I'm just gonna do this on the ground. So this is the Monstera plant that I'm gonna be repotting. And it's got some seashells in the top, so I'm gonna move those. And then I'm gonna go ahead and trim off these aerial roots. And hopefully that'll make it a little easier to deal with here. I'm just gonna clip them off. They don't really need to be there. And where's the other one? Right here. Okay. And then the soil is pretty dry, but I'm just gonna try to lift this out of here. And I actually, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it off of this prop because I'm gonna add that back in later. So I'm gonna get rid of that moss pole. And then I'm gonna try to gently, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm gonna try to gently pull out these little babies. 9 times out of 10, you can just kind of pull them out and get a little bit of a root system, or you can also trim it. It's got a really nice, good taproot there that I want to try to pull out. There we go. So you can see I was able to get that with quite a bit of root on there. So I can move that to a different pot. And I'm going to do the same, try to do the same with this one here. And again, it doesn't hurt to trim them a little bit if you have to. Oh yeah, super easy. Here we go. Look at that. Get as much as the root as I can. So there's that little cutting. So you can see, you know, these are pretty easy plants to propagate in that regard. Okay, so I've got my main guy here. And I'm just gonna lift him out. And technically I should have watered him first, but in fact, what I might do is just move this main mother plant to this bigger pot, and then I might just repot those 2 pups in this pot. And I'm gonna get in here, need something to lift. Now this root system I can tell already is like major. I feel like I need a little something to push down in there, and I'm not fully prepared here. Something to just kind of loosen it up around the edges. Actually, the dry soil is working to my favor a little bit. But I really wanted something striking in that big pot. So I think this is going to be just the ticket. Oh man, I don't know what it's hung up on here. It's almost there. Come on. All right, there we go. Yeah, these Monsteras, they grow fast too, and so the root systems will quickly fill up a pot. So just to kind of show you, it's pretty root bound. So I'm gonna break up, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die, first of all. I'm gonna break up this root habit here before I repot it. Milo, I don't really need your help. But those roots will quickly, you know, get down in there, and they'll enjoy having a bit more room. I lost my hole a little bit with all that soil, so I'm going to try to back some of this out. And then this isn't the like hugest pot for this, but I'm going to take some of that dry soil out of the, I still think it'll be better than what it was in. All right, good. Once I get them all tucked in here, I'm going to add that moss pole back in for more support. And you can also, you know, train these a little bit more. Some of mine are kind of wild, but you can, you know, eliminate some of the leaves and kind of train them a little bit better, if that makes sense. I'm just going to get this guy. I'm burying him just a little bit deeper than he was. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and grab that moss pole now, because now that I've got him in here, I want to think about where that's going to go. And this is a much bigger size pot and a better size pot for this moss pole. And then I just use this coated wire. It's kind of coated with like a rubbery coating. And I find that that works pretty well. You can also, you know, moisten the moss poles and all of that. So I've got this one leaf and it's kind of in my way. So I'm going to get rid of that. And that way that'll just snug this up even closer. But Monsteras, I found they kind of need support. They get a little wild if you don't give them more support. Okay, so now I'm gonna do a little bit more soil around. And then I'm gonna water this in really well. And that'll do it for this guy. I think he's gonna look really good in that cover pot. There's a little leaf and a root there I don't want. Okay, good. All right, so there he is. Much better supported, a nice bigger pot for him. And I think he's gonna look great. And then I think what I'm gonna do, I'm kind of making a mess here, but I think I'm gonna just do these 2 pups in this pot, because that will give them a lot more room. So I'm just gonna go ahead, while I'm making the mess, I might as well just go for it here. And that will be a better fit for these 2 that need room to grow. And since they're both relatively small, I think putting them in the same vessel is fine. So these guys are going to have more room and fresh soil. And again, I could find a stake or something to kind of train these a little bit better. But when they're tiny, you know, they don't need as much support when they're little like this. But yeah, that's going to be much better. That's a much better deal. And that other one, I mean, I repotted it about a year ago. So that's just, you know, that's one summer's growth. So in the one summer, it put on 2 babies and, you know, grew. It was probably about this size when I put it in this pot originally. So it's amazing to see how fast they grow. Now, I keep those indoors in the summer, but you can also move them outside depending on what your zone is. They like to be outside in the summertime. All right, now I'm all dirty, but here's that one. Much better fit for that size pot. Now I've got the 2 pups in there. And I've got the big one here, so I'm just going to take everyone back inside and back to their new homes. All right, so here is the makeover, if you will. Okay, guys, well, here's how things turned out. It's crazy to think that this little pot, that's where I put the 2 babies, that this plant was in that pot. Like, look at the size of this thing. It's pretty big, you know? It was pretty big for that teeny little pot. So now that it's in its new home, I think the scale is way better. I think it's gonna be a lot happier, and then these 2 babies can grow on and get big like the other ones, and I'll just have a whole Monstera corner going on over here. Lots of Monsteras and some crazy dogs.